Welcome to first grade Unit 4. My name is Jake Beers, Elementary Science TOSA here for Springdale Public Schools. We're going to go ahead and kind of run through this unit, talk a little bit about key concepts for kiddos as they're exploring the concepts of structures and functions. This unit has kind of two big themes that we're going to run throughout. The first is parents and their offspring, and so how parents have structures and they're similar to their offspring, how sometimes they look similar, how sometimes they look different. And kind of the idea of commonality among a species. So, a baby wolf will look like a wolf. It would have, specific characteristics of their parents, and then sometimes they look different. And they begin that by investigating a flamingo. And it's a fun investigation where they look at an adult flamingo and try and predict what a baby's going to look like. And then they launch into this idea of similarities and differences. And they do, observations of a bunch of different animal babies. They look at some of the behaviors of the baby and the parents and how, crying as a baby helps the parent to know the baby needs something and vice versa. So this idea is of protection from the parents, providing food, things like that are ways that the parents support their young. They then transition into structures and functions, and we spend about 3 weeks of this unit really focus on the structures and functions of plants and animals. And so we do that by talking first about elephants and how elephants have unique structures like trunks and different things like that. And then they move into this book called What Would You Do With a Tail Like This by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. And they just explore this idea of different structures that animals have, and that launches them into how do those structures help the animal to survive? How does an elephant's trunk, how does a mole's nose, how do those structures, external structures, help an animal to survive? And so they do that through a couple picture-perfect lessons. They're going to investigate different structures. And so the first one is unbeatable beaks. And this has been part of the first grade unit for a while. And this one they explore different bird beaks. And they look at an investigation that mimics different bird beaks, like this dropper, this clothespin, and this fork. And then students are trying to pick up different objects and talk about how the structure of the beak helps the students to do the different tasks. And so this idea that certain beaks work really well for certain things, and then the structure determines how it helps them meet a need. And so by having a certain beak, you can get the certain type of food. So if you have this dropper beak, you're not going to eat these marshmallows. You would eat some water, right? So this mimics a hummingbird. And so students explore that structure. They read a couple really cool picture books, Unbeatable Beaks, and the Right Beak, and then they also read the book Beaks, and so look at some different types of beak books. Then we incorporate a new lesson. It is about pill bugs, so it comes from a picture-perfect STEM unit. So they begin with this read aloud of next time you see a pill bug and looking at a pill bug. Pill bugs are roly-polies. So at this point you may be able to find roly-polies. If you can't find roly-polies out in the playground, there is a video that has a roly-poly and you can watch that. However, that is nowhere near as cool as actually observing them. And then they go into this, read aloud of this book, Next Time You See a Pill Bug, learn about the structures of pill bugs and how those structures help the pill bug to survive. They then learn a little bit about biomimicry, which is where a scientist or engineer use structures found in nature, like the shape of the pill bug shell or things like that, to create something that humans use. And so in this one, they are looking at just a pillbot robot. They then read this book, Robots, pieces of this book, Robots, and then students design on paper just a simple pillbot robot and how that pillbot helps helps them to survive. And then we transition a little bit to plants, and so students look at young plants and adult plants, just look for similarities in structure. Then we end the unit by studying cactuses, because cactus have unique, or cacti, this is one, cacti, they have a unique structure. And so the unit begins by reading this book, Hug Me, which is just a silly read aloud about a cactus who can't find a friend, and it ends up it's just a way to hook students into this idea of cactus. And then we do some cactus observations. So you can buy these at Lowe's. This was about $3. And again, I would recommend as a team buying maybe 4 to 6, and then just share those amongst your team. So maybe on the same day, everybody observes. But the great thing about cactus is they're so unique, right? And so this one has pretty big spines. It actually has a beautiful flower that's blooming right now. but it just gives kids a chance to observe the different shapes and structures. And this is such a unique plant compared to the typical plants we see here in Northwest Arkansas. And so it just gives students an idea to talk about what external parts does this plant have, why is it shaped the way it is. It doesn't look at all like a maple tree or a different tree. Students then do some different cactus experiments with paper and talk about how the wax coating helps the cactus to retain moisture. They learn about the desert and the environment of the desert and how this cactus is adapted to live there. There's a chance for an art collaboration making a different cactus. And then they finish the unit with a writing prompt where they're going to go back and they're going to decide if I could have a structure of an animal, what structure would it be and how would that help me to do a task. And so to me it's an opportunity for students to really hone in on structures and functions of animals and plants and really look at the unique diversity of plants and animals and how each structure with those plants and animals help them to survive. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a lot of fun hands-on activities, some great read-alouds. It's a fun unit to teach with your kids.